we've talked about What Money Can't Buy, a famous book by Harvard professor Michael Sandel, which talks about the limits of money. For example, if your friends help you move, and after a long day you feel they are tired, you can give each person 200 yuan, or you can just have dinner together. According to Mencius, if you give money at this time, it will harm the relationship. Money will blur this beautiful relationship, making it something else. Lastly, when it appears proper to sacrifice one's life, and afterward not proper, to sacrifice it is contrary to bravery. It's because, in Mencius's time, people often face the choice of sacrificing for righteousness. When something happens, you can either live or die. If you easily give up your life, it blurs the concept of courage, making us think that courage is just sacrifice, which is not necessarily the case. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." Sometimes you think dying is brave. Other times, living with scars is even braver. The second sentence, men must be decided on what they will not do, and then they can act with vigor in what they ought to do. This famous saying is from Lilu Thekun of Mencius. I have many interpretations of this sentence. How many interpretations are there? The first interpretation I can think of is, people should not fall into opportunity traps. In the process of starting a business, people will come to you and say, let's do this, let's do that. When you haven't done it yet, everything sounds great. This is why many people feel there are too many things to do. But once you get involved, you find it takes a lot of your resources and time, and it's not what you imagined, turning into a trap. The first meaning is easy to understand. You must be wary of opportunity traps and not try to do everything. As the saying goes, generals on the march do not chase rabbits. The second meaning is that our lives need principles and bottom lines. Having things you won't do allows you to have things you will do. If you have no bottom line or principles, and there's nothing you won't do, no one will dare to cooperate with you, and you might create a huge mess. This is another angle to understand this sentence. The third perspective is from On War, which talks about strategic concentration. The resources you have are limited, so you must concentrate on a relatively narrow battlefield to achieve strategic advantages. Some markets you don't compete in, some channels you don't use. You focus on occupying these limited channels and markets, or you create a blockbuster. Look at many big internet companies. They are driven by blockbusters. They make many products in a year, but only one truly sells. This blockbuster product can drive many other products. This is the significance of strategic concentration. The final meaning is delayed gratification. The Stanford marshmallow experiment shows that a person's ultimate success in life is likely related to their ability to delay gratification. Some people lack delayed gratification and want immediate rewards for their work, so they can only do hourly jobs because hourly work is paid quickly. But if you want to be a white-collar worker, you might have to wait a month for a paycheck. If you want to be an executive, you might have to wait for an annual salary. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you might have to wait many years. If you want to be an investor, the waiting time is even longer. So, delayed gratification is another layer of understanding. Men must be decided on what they will not do, and then they can act with vigor in what they ought to do. So, Mencius's saying has so many angles that we can relate to today. Overall, we must understand give and take. The third sentence, but I am in charge of no office. On me devolves no duty of speaking out my opinion. May not I therefore act freely and without any constraint, either in going forward or in retiring? Mencius was always an outsider. It's quite interesting. Actually, he had opportunities to hold high office, whether in the state of Qi or the state of Wei, but he never took them. He wanted to be a teacher to emperors, always lecturing them, discussing lofty and metaphysical issues, and trying to stimulate their inner sense of self-esteem. So, some people criticized Mencius, saying, "You haven't said what you should have said, and you aren't responsible." The official who listened to your advice has already resigned. Why don't you resign? Mencius replied, What does that have to do with me? I don't hold an official position. I don't bear the responsibility of speech. I am here purely for education. Therefore, I have plenty of room to maneuver. Mencius played an infinite game. If he followed the advice of Chunyukun and said, You should take an official position, come out and save the world with your own hands, and take charge yourself, that would be a finite game. A finite game requires qualifications to enter, and participants need to win this game to finally get a trophy or a title. Players in an infinite game don't need qualifications to enter, so anyone can participate casually. Moreover, players of the infinite game play with the boundaries of the game and how to make this game play without restrictions. Looking at Su Dongpo and his political enemy Zhang Dun, it's easy to understand these two concepts. Zhang Dun played a finite game, how to defeat you all and become prime minister, exile you all to Hainan Island. In the end, Zhang Dun became a high official and exiled his political enemies. But historically, many people don't know who Zhang Dun was. Everyone knows Su Dongpo. Su Dongpo played an infinite game, always exploring the boundaries of life. Can I make better food? Can I invent a new way of eating? Can I write better poetry, write better articles, and understand deeper Buddhist principles? So, people who play infinite games play with the boundaries of the game. If you let someone like Mencius gain official positions, gain responsibilities of speech, it would really be a constraint for him. What he should do is broaden the boundaries of human thought. Therefore, this sentence is about Mencius's life choices. These are the 3 sentences about choice.